All right, let's get started. Let's see. Last week I spent some time doing reviews, the journal badging PR for Yingjin and the SeaStore metadata PR for May. I'm sort of working on the cache LRU as well, but I got sidetracked with other stuff. Bharath, how's it going?
Yeah, Sam. The testing is blocked, Sam. Last week I raised one blocker. So if I get
Ah,
a
yes.
if I get a solution for that, then I can proceed further.
Can you paste a link to the bug again? Are you interested in investigating the problem?
Yeah, actually, it's like a procedure which is mentioned in the doc is I just followed the procedure, and doc is also mentioned in that bug. So I cannot able to proceed further.
Right. I'm asking, are you interested in investigating it? If not, it'll have to
Yeah,
wait. It'll have to wait a bit, I think. Person would have
yeah,
time.
yeah. I'll try.
Okay. Let me know if you've got questions.
Yeah.
It looks like a build problem with,
I'm trying on with the Ceph ADM.
yeah.
That is what I mean. In the previous discussions, what we discussed is like it is the crimson is mainly targeted for the rook. So
No, it'll be
already
on both.
met.
It's just that
Oh,
Rook got
okay,
addressed first. Ultimately,
okay,
Ceph ADM will need to be handled as well. It just hasn't been done yet.
okay, okay, right.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. I'll let you know if when it's time for it. So, how's it going?
Last week I spent some time on the to identify why the build option influenced the performance testing result. So I and Yinxin got the different result on my machine. Uh, the build option no omit frame pointer. Uh, without that option, and the batching DR seems getting worse performance, but in this environment, it didn't bring the worst performance. So if anybody has time, so please verify it if why there's different result on our two machine. And
How big a difference is it?
uh, so without the batching PR, uh, the gap between the batching PR is for the IO depth is 32 and the jump number is 2. 4K random write and FL test is over about 10 to 20 uh, milli, milliseconds. So about 10 to 20 ms with the PR without PR.
But that's a saturation workload. The latency is irrelevant.
Saturation
What's the difference in throughput?
throughput also reduced
How
with the
much?
um, much. One is 18, for example, or without PR maybe 18 or 1900, and with PR maybe 14,
Huh.
1300. IOPS, I mean.
And there's no difference if you build with no omit frame pointer?
It's at the same magnitude.
I'm sorry?
On the same magnitude, very small difference. On my machine, I mean. But Yinxin has any build option, they got the similar performance result.
Hmm.
Well, my guess is that our cleaner effort is never unstable. And then maybe that's the reason.
I'm sorry,
I
what's that?
can't hear you.
Because its workload is run like 300 seconds and the cleaner is running. And maybe that has a side effect on the final result. And So
Yeah, it
maybe
could be the way
it's just not stable.
the cleaner submits much larger transactions.
But we run the same time, right?
Right, but if they're different amounts of performance or different drive sizes, the segment cleaner might kick in on one but not the other.
Oh, and the second one is that UUID still has some problem provide the PR and will modify the PR according to the comments. The third one is that seems make FS works and the SeaStore startup and OSD stopped, but when the Ceph cluster, for example, use this command to start the Ceph OSD, I can't see the Ceph OSD startup. So currently, Ceph OSD cannot start up. I still dig on it. Why the command doesn't work?
Yeah, I'm not sure how that command works. Well, let me know if you've got any questions. For the FSID thing, by the way, we don't need a set FSID call. Classic OSD does that. I'm honestly not sure why. It could just pass it as a parameter to make FS, but it doesn't. So you should be able to just check for 0 right at the top of makeFS and randomize it there. That should be all you need to do.
You mean the 0? For this command, it should be 0 for the FSID.
What? No, I'm talking about the PR you posted for makeFS, for set FSID.
So you mean we needn't set FSID in super block?
No, I don't think we do. We already do that by passing the FSID to makeFS. I think all you need to do is check for 0 and randomize it right at the beginning.
Oh, you mean we do it in the OSD make FS, right? Check it 0.
No, I mean, or I guess you could do it there. Either way, but you don't need a set FSID call. Like if you look at, well, I made a comment on the bug. We can discuss it there.
If we don't set FSID, because the super block FSID use the store get FSID, so that is 0.
Yeah, I know. So if you change it before we call makeFS in the first place, that is before we write it to the segment manager. So that's correct the whole time.
I can't understand it. So, so when we write to the super block, it is 0 currently.
Yeah, so don't do that. Before, like at the very top of SeaStore makeFS, if the FSID is 0, replace it with a random FSID before we call the rest of the stuff. That way we never write a 0 FSID in the first place.
Yeah, so in the first place, you mean that in the OSD makeFS?
Or at the very beginning of SeaStore makeFS. I don't care. Either way.
Oh, okay. So we check if it is 0, but we still need to set FSID to the super block.
Well, we call segment manager we call segment manager makeFS, don't we?
Segment makeFS.
We pass SeaStore meta T to makeFS.
Oh, I will check it. So segment manager still do the makeFS and pass the UUID to it, right?
Well, it gets a SeaStore meta T, which includes an FSID. So make sure it has the right one.
Oh, I see. Maybe the place is too later, so makeFS still gets 0 UUID. I see.
Yeah, you'll notice that SeaStore makeFS, like the very first thing it does is call segment manager makeFS on a SeaStore meta T with new OSD FSID, right? So if new OSD FSID is 0, then we write zeros to the super block. That's not good.
I see. I got it.
Okay, cool.
I will modify the PR. So that's all.
It should be like a 1-line change, I would think, or 3 lines. Be simple. All right. Zweihan, how's it going?
Last week I intended to rebase the spread LFS strategy work to the master branch, but I was occupied by some other jobs in my office, so I didn't make much progress. But this week I'll be back on track and continuing that work. Sorry, that's all from me.
Okay. Yingzhen, how's it going?
Last week I fixed a journal committee tool management and also fixed the test initiation issue that was initiate structures outside SeaStore reactor. And for the journal submitter, I also did several rounds of performance tests to verify if there are regressions, but I don't find any. And I also implemented to block requests when the submitter is full, and I'm still refining the code. It should be soon for review. And that's
Okay.
all.
So if you're not seeing a performance regression, Yingzhen, I'm inclined to go ahead and merge it. I know that we're seeing a problem in Shenmei's environment, but we do actually need the ability to coalesce records. So we're going to have to just figure out what's causing the performance regression in Shenmei's environment later.
Yeah.
Does that seem okay?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
I mean, if no omit frame pointer is impacting it, then it's likely that we're not optimizing something out with no omit frame pointer enabled or disabled. So if we look at the generated code, we should be able to figure out what the difference is eventually. All right. Is there anything else we want to discuss? All right. Have a good week. Later.